Happy New Year! That's right, folks. It's the Lunar New Year. Happy New Year. It's the
Wow.
year of the ox, baby. You got to get excited
Yeah,
for that. Come on.
yeah, big ox guy.
That's right. It's
And
Friday. It's Three Man Weave College Basketball Show here, hosted by SBRSportsbookReview.com. Shout out to them. Make sure, as you are watching this video, hit that like button, like and subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/SBR Sports. Also, head over to their website, sbrpicks.com/NCAAB. We've got the URL at the top of the screen, so just click on that or just punch it into your little URL. Enter your window and head over there for a lot of great resources with our friends at SBR. Oh boy, guys, what a day yesterday. Ky, you're rocking the spinny hat. Just a little disheveled this morning, apparently. Couldn't quite get the hair on point. So spinny hat it is. Ky, what was your takeaway from yesterday?
Well, Jim, we haven't done very well on Fridays recently, so I'm turning the luck around today with the spinny hat.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
secondary reason was I did not have a whole lot of time this morning. You're right. But two takeaways from yesterday I noticed. Number one, let me get the two in there. Number one, Minnesota at home, still legit. 13-1 at home now, 0 road wins. That team is a dichotomy of good and bad. Also, guys, tip of the cap here to SIUE. They've been weirdly competitive despite this gauntlet of a schedule. They're actually 7-4 in their 11 games they've played within the last 22 days. That's way better than I thought. My strategy was kind of fading them. Two factors there. Number one, the OVC bottom sucks, something fierce. Definitely a part of it. Number
All
two,
those Tennessee schools, Tech, Martin, State, they're bad.
They're bad. Number two, Matthew, they were 12 or 20 from 3 yesterday. Tennessee Tech just 5 of 20. So still, tip of the cap to SIUE.
Hey, I've been an SIUE and a SEMO supporter all year. Unfortunately, I decided to fade SIUE with Tennessee Tech last night. So do as I say, not as I do. Jim, my takeaway, it's data rate. Kyle Smith. I'll continue to beat the drum. 5 straight covers. Had an impressive effort last night, knocking off UCLA, albeit UCLA a little bit shorthanded. That's 3 wins in their last 4. These young freshmen, sophomore are getting a lot better. And Isaac Bonton, a guy who we saw last year out of this lineup, the team crumbled without him. He's back. He's healthy. He's playing his best basketball of his career. The sky is the limit for this Wazoo bunch, Jimmy.
Yep, I'll stay in the Pac-12, Matt. I thought kind of the cream of the crop asserted itself yesterday between Oregon and Colorado. Really, really impressed by them. USC as well. Honestly, that's the best 3 teams in that league, and I think they showed it yesterday. All 3 winning by double digits. They're elevating. UCLA just shorthanded right now, so I don't put them quite in that tier. But impressive efforts all around out west in the Pac-12. All right, let's get into today's slate, guys. We're starting in the A10. St. Bonaventure at VCU. VCU a slight favorite, -3. A rematch here of earlier in the season when VCU got up big at halftime. I think they're up 16.5. And then, Matt, a complete barnstorming in the second half by your Bonaventure, your Bonnies. You've been bananas for the Bonnies all year. Are you going back to that well today?
I am. I know it's not a great spot given the fact that they did trounce VCU in the second half. There's got to be some anger, some revenge lurking in the minds of the Rams. But I think Bonaventure, as good as they've been, there's still room for improvement. We're starting to see these guards knock down shots. Kyle Laughlin's shot was broken to start the year. It was basically just a one-man wrecking crew for the first few weeks with Jaron Holmes going completely nuclear. But now they're getting a lot of a more democratic or by-committee scoring attack. And they're just built to beat this VCU pressure. They have multiple ball handlers, and the guards are long, right? Lofton 6'3", Holmes and Welsh are 6'4", 6'5" apiece. They can throw over the top of the defense. If you get by that VCU pressure, I think Bonnie's can execute in the half court. So I took Bonnie's very small here. You know what? I'll make it an official show play. Well, let's get it going tonight. I'm going to keep throwing darts to the wall after my poor high-volume day yesterday, Kai.
I admire you, Matthew. I'm just glad we have this game. I'm excited to watch it. It's a battle for first place in the A10 right now. Both teams have legit at-large cases, especially VCU currently. And Bones Highland, guys, he's playing like the A10 player of the year right now. Guy's awesome. If you haven't watched him play, please do. Good on both ends of the floor. Yeah, that first Bonnie's game was something. They won by 16. VCU was 11 for 40 inside the arc. Yeah. That's 27.5%. I think that's almost impossible, guys. That's a total anomaly. I don't see them doing that again. But both teams are very evenly matched. These two teams are one spot away in KenPom. They're similar sized. It's going to be a great game to watch. I'm leaning, Jim, towards the Rams in a bounce back, but the line's basically right where I made it.
I am too. I'm leaning towards VCU, but again, yeah, just like you, made it 2.5, 3 myself. This game was 52-51 with 10 minutes left last time, and VCU had 3 points in the final 10 minutes. That was just a complete anomaly, just like Ky said. That's not sustainable. St. Bonaventure plays good interior defense. They've got Schoen in there with his massive length, but I don't see that happening again. So a slight lean to VCU. Big game for both teams, like Ky mentioned, bubble picture. Yes. Definitely a lot of implications here. All right, let's go to ACC country. Georgia Tech at Clemson. Just like a lot of these games we'll be discussing, another rematch here. Right out of a shutdown last time, Georgia Tech went nuts on Clemson. They scored 1.32 points per possession after 17 days off. They were wild hot from deep. I think they hit 16 threes in that game, torched Clemson. Ky, Georgia Tech's off that tough Virginia loss on Wednesday, though. Short turnaround. Are you going to see them getting a win here, sweeping Clemson, or do you think home Clemson gets it done?
Yeah, this is a big game for both teams. Clemson is in the tournament right now. If you were to stop the play, they've won 2 straight. They have an at-large resume, good enough for, I'd say, around an 8 to 10 seed, somewhere along there. If they lose today, though, that becomes sort of in jeopardy. And Georgia Tech obviously needs this one to even get in the conversation. I don't think Georgia Tech's going to score 1.3 points per possession again in this game. 16 threes is like, wow. I mean, they have good shooters. They have good guards. And Clemson will certainly let you shoot versus let you take it inside. Ordinarily, I would say that's a great advantage for them. But this Georgia Tech team has shown that it can get hot. I do sort of lean towards Georgia Tech, Jim, despite the spot. Matt, I feel like Clemson's probably in a better spot here and sort of getting hotter. But I still sort of lean towards Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no number lean, but I'm with you guys. I think the spot definitely leans Clemson. Since that UVA debacle at home, they've won their last 3 on their home floor. Georgia Tech also scheduling note. They did play 2 days ago, right? Played Wednesday, got put into the Virginia crockpot. So I think there's actually a full home court value here for Clemson, just with Georgia Tech, again, coming off that one-day rest. Clemson having not played since last Saturday. So just something to note there, Jim.
Yeah, both offenses were more efficient than you would expect against these particular defenses in the last meeting. I think the under might have a little value, too, because of that short Georgia Tech turnaround. But the Clemson splits home versus away have been nuts. I mean, obviously, Matt, you mentioned that Virginia blowout that Clemson got taken behind the woodshed. They lost that game by 35. Even so, they're 6-2-1 against the spread at home with a positive cover margin, despite that 35-point blowout. On the road, Clemson is 0-5 with a -12 average cover margin. Like they're just terrible away from Little John, but a very tough squad there. I lean towards Clemson, lean towards the under, but the numbers aren't there enough to make them show plays. Let's get to CUSA. UAB at Louisiana Tech. Guys, this conference has been an absolute nemesis for me all season. It's been tough. Louisiana Tech, a very slight favorite here against a UAB team that has played a terrible schedule all season. This is the first top 100 KenPom team they have played, the first top 125 defense that they have played. God, I'm just going to come out and say it, Matt. Louisiana Tech -1 is my best bet. I mentioned my struggles with CUSA. Whatever, throw them in the garbage. We're back with the Bulldogs on this one. I just think they're the better team. UAB finally getting a much stiffer test. Ky, actually, we'll go to Matt here. Do you agree or disagree with my Bulldogs take today?
I think they are equals, Jim. I did take La Tech very small.
Wrong.
Okay.
Not.
Well, we'll see. But as you alluded to very astutely pre-show, you can kind of pick apart some of UAB's efforts, right? The last two games against UTEP last weekend, the game was pretty close for about 30 minutes or so, and then UAB just put them to bed the last 10 minutes or so. Middle Tennessee, that team was beat to shit the weekend. They swept them. Rice was also without Travis Evie in the first, and then they were down Evie plus 2 more in that series. So if you go through UAB's recent games in conference, and then you basically look at who they played in the non-con, there's really nothing to hang their head on, right? I think the East Tennessee State one is probably the best, but that was still an East Tennessee State team integrating a lot of pieces. They've now become a better team. So you just look big picture and normalize for all of the results, Ky. I think you could argue UAB is a little bit fraudulent, but I don't know. I watch them. This defense is swarming.
I don't think they're fraudulent, but Jim's point about who they've played is a valid one. I don't even think they played a top 130 team, Jim. You said top 100. I think it's top even 130.
Yeah, East Tennessee
State is the best one. Yep.
Yeah, and certainly not a top 100 defense. And Louisiana Tech's the 42nd best defense in the country. This defense is legit. UAB has not played a team like this yet. Louisiana Tech's well coached. They're massive inside. Kenneth Lofton, we've talked about on the show before, 275 pounds. That guy is huge. They're tough. They're going to force UAB into a lot of mid-range jumpers. That's a winning strategy, I think, for the Bulldogs. It's also just a great chance for them to knock off the number one team in the CUSA right now. So I'm joining Jim on a play here. Louisiana Tech, -1, Jim, you said?
Yep, -1.
-1, I'm joining.
Yeah, love the spot too. Louisiana Tech's played 5 of their last 6 on the road, so they're back home in the comforts of Ruston. Meanwhile, UAB's had 5 of their last 6 at home. Now they got to go on the road. I really like the spot. I like the fact that UAB has not seen anyone of this caliber yet this season. Louisiana Tech should be able to take care of the ball. They got a deep backcourt. So, yeah, let's go Bulldogs, and we'll move on. Big West, another big showdown in mid-majordom. We did a couple of these yesterday, Matt, on your show. We're going to keep it rolling here. UC Irvine at UC Riverside. The Anteaters at the Highlanders, a great little mascot matchup here. Irvine has been bet up to a slight favorite. It was around pick to open, but they're -1.5, -2 at this point. Super low total, 123.5, and that makes sense. Both these teams are huge. They're both top 15 in the country in 2-point percentage defense. Not a ton of shooting really on the Irvine side. Riverside's made some shots this year, but Ky, anything jump out to you in this Big West slugfest?
From a macro perspective, Jim, UC Irvine should not be just a 1-point favorite over UC Riverside, right? That's kind of like the program thing we usually talk about here. Now, Riverside's been playing a lot better this year. They're a legit team. I fully believe in them. They are coming off a 2-week pause. There's probably no home court here. These schools are less than an hour apart. These are the best 2 defenses in the Big West. I probably wouldn't recommend watching this game. It's going to be very, very ugly. Both teams very physical, like to pound it inside. I just think Irvine's better equipped to handle this type of game. And Riverside out of a shutdown, no home court. Irvine still like a tier above them defensively, even though Riverside's number 2 in the conference. So, Matt, I'm leaning Irvine here, -1, -1.5, whatever it is now.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, Jim, the last 2 games they played last season, I think they both fell 122. So the total, I think, is pretty much spot on here. Yeah, Riverside's been awesome. I mean, you have to tip your cap to how good Ky McKeon is doing. An analytic guru, one of these guys who believes in the numbers of defensive scheming. He makes you take long, contested 2-point jump shots, and he has size for days up front. They run you off the 3-point line. Almost a mirror image, honestly, of what Irvine does to you on that side of the ball as well. I'm with the guys, though. I definitely lean Irvine here, especially with Riverside coming out of a shutdown and basically, just a bus across the LA area.
Yeah, I wanted to take it at pick or -1, but it's such a low total and it's hard for both teams to score that up to -2. I'm just going to stay away on the show, not actually give the full recommendation, but definitely lean towards the Anteaters here. All right, let's get into a chat mob break. Matt, I believe you have been the czar of the episode today.
Oh, it's me.
Ky, deferring.
Oh, Ky, all right, let's go.
Matt gave up the reins. We'll start with Jalen and Tim. IUPUI UIC. This is the first Matt. Yeah, early tip, guys, in this one. I'll tell you what, I lean the Flames. I lean UIC in this one. Caveat, I faded IUPUI a lot, Matt, this year. They do have 2 really good guards, and they've played better than I expected this season. What do you think?
I've had IUPUI rated, I think, fairly high this season. I just think that when you have 2 guys who can make shots at the caliber that Minute and Burke can, you always have a chance, and you just can only be so bad with those 2 dudes. UIC boat race last weekend by Wright State, but Wright State is doing that to everyone. So I don't really put that, I don't hold that against them, Jim. I think they come out with a much better effort here. I would certainly lean the Flames.
Yeah, I lean the Flames too. It's bet from 2 up to 3. That probably backs me off here. Mm-hmm. UIC runs everybody off the 3-point line. They're maniacal about that. It's a huge Yaklich staple.
Yeah.
And IUPUI's main source of points is Minette and Burke from downtown. So if you can force them to take inefficient mid-rangers, that's huge. UIC is just like awful from the free throw line, though, which scares me in a potential close game.
Also, Zion Griffin did not play last weekend. Just a note for UIC. Key starter, the caliber guy there.
Regis asks about Marshall, and I'm sorry, we'll save that one. My bad, Matthew. Saw asks
we can hit that. We can hit that one now. That's not his BB.
Yeah, I swerved last second.
I'm sorry. That's why I wrote it down. That's why I wrote it down.
Fault. I wrote. Yeah, go ahead. You're good. You got
asked
it.
About Marshall versus Middle Tennessee, Matt. Who do you like?
I like Middle Tennessee. This was on the cut line for my best bet. I'm going a different direction. We'll get there later. I just think this number's too high. 17 points. I know Middle Tennessee's hurt. They lost Schuler for the year. They should be down Donovan Sims as well, who were arguably their 2 best guards to start the season. but it seems to read very well for the squad. They're playing with more balanced attack coming off the sweep of Charlotte last week, and I think there's that the nucleus that's still intact right now is good enough to keep to stay inside that big number, Jim.
Yeah, I lean towards them. I do think the number's too high, especially it's kind of a lowish, well, not super low total, but Middle Tennessee's offense could be really bad. They played a seemingly lost Charlotte team last week and looked good, but now back on the road against Marshall. I'm nervous. I'm not going to make an official show play, but I do think it's too high.
Quick comment. We're getting some Portland barfing here. Portland's best player and another starter were out, announced late, not even announced. So a little credit to Matthew there. It wasn't a terrible pick. They had no players in that game.
Randomly not known. Yeah, as lineups came out. That's just it's a morning show. We don't know all the
if there's anyone here on Pilot Nation, my favorite fan forum, Portland U basketball, no mention of this. Come on, guys. I put you at the top of the totem pole of all fan forums. You let me down. So upsetting.
I'm getting crap for LIU. They covered for 39 plus minutes. All right. Anyways, saw Milwaukee versus Wright State. What do you think about this one, guys? I don't have a play. I think Jim. I mean, the spread's high, right? But Wright State's been just crushing people lately.
Yeah, I raised my Wright State rating pretty considerably last weekend when they just demolished UIC twice. And at 18, I was leaning towards Milwaukee, maybe a small take, but it's been bet down just a hair, enough that I'm kind of happy to not be fading Wright State today.
Yeah. Moving on to UCF versus Tulane from Zach. Matt, Tulane's been kind of feisty lately, to be honest. I'm kind of leaning that way.
They have, I feel like that zone, those kids are starting to figure that out. And once that defense is elevated, plus you got Forbes on the other end starting to make shots and Gabe Watson as well. Yeah, I'm not trying to go against Ron Hunter in the wave right now. There's some serious momentum brewing down there in NOLA.
Yeah, weird schedule spot for them, though, playing a second time this week and traveling all over the country at this point.
Going to Ducky with Bellarmine and, North Alabama. I couldn't read my own writing. We love this Bellarmine team, man. Yeah, Jim, I almost just forced a bet despite my number, but in fact, I still might later on today. What do you think?
I kind of did force a bet despite my number. This matchup is just ripe for them. They are one of the most packed-in defenses in the country. North Alabama's all penetration. They can't shoot. And then the other end, North Alabama does the same thing. They pack it in. But Bellarmine is one of the best shooting teams in the entire country. So I really like the Knights here. I just think I don't have a great rating on them as a team that's come up from D2. So I'm kind of going more gut feel with them on bets than I am sticking exclusively to numbers. I like the Knights.
Yeah, anytime you're betting the Bellarmine first game, the teams I haven't seen their offense yet, I have a tendency to believe they have a strong edge, right? So I think that's probably a good spot.
I think their defense is the same way. It's not really like pack line, but it is so. They know that they're small, so they keep everything. They don't give up driving lanes.
All right, Matthew, a different Matthew than you, Matthew, asks about Santa Barbara versus Hawaii. Now, I lean towards Santa Barbara here, Matt, but you like the Bows. Why?
Bows have been solid. They got a bunch of length. Sure. They're athletes. They're versatile. They're switchable. It's the first trip to the island this year for Santa Barbara. Yeah, Santa Barbara's really good. Ultra talented. And I think they're playing smarter than I've seen them play in the past, but I just like the Bows here. They got my guy, Jovan McClanahan, who started to emerge as that point guard. And that's been the issue for Hawaii, at least last year, is they didn't really have a true floor general. I think he's kind of solidifying that steed there, Jim. So I'm a Bow guy.
I am not. I think UC Santa Barbara, after they lost twice to Irvine, I overreacted to thinking they were not good, and they've just demolished people since then. That team is awesome. They're so talented. Maybe the offense took a little while to get clicking with Pasternak. I'm not going to fade that team right now.
All right, let's go Ducky with Presbyterian and Hampton really quick. We had no take on this game yesterday. Guess what? I still have no take.
0 takes.
Great.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the line would be lower after Presbyterian demolished them and we could get like a Hampton -1, but it's -3, so unfortunately nothing for me there.
I'll go one more and save the rest for the end. Harry and Marshall ask about Manhattan and Iona. The Gales coming off a major shutdown, haven't played since December. Clearly the better team than Manhattan, but are you man enough, Jim, to take Iona out of this long of a shutdown?
Are you man enough? No, I am not man enough here.
Are you man enough?
Manhattan's starting to figure things out a little bit. Ky, you know what I might be? I'm Manhattan enough.
Okay. That's better.
Steve Michello is playing Samir Stewart more minutes now. He's their best player. He's starting. I don't know why he wasn't playing more before, but this Manhattan team's a little more competent when he's on the court. I can't take it because I do my number has this so much wider than it is right now, but the shutdown scares me off Iona. Yep. It's a stay away from me, Matt.
Yep, and our guy Samir Steer has finally been given the keys to the offense, Jim, and that's basically just changed my entire perspective.
So the exact point I just made?
Like, I can't emphasize enough how much better this team is with him. Manhattan is one of those teams you just bet on and don't watch, but now it's Stewart. It's like, it's a sigh of relief. It's a breath of fresh air, Ky.
Yes. All right, Jim. You can take back the rundown.
Back to the outline. Big Ten country, boys. Illinois at Nebraska. Illinois about a 15-point favorite. This is the fourth game in 7 days off of a long shutdown for Nebraska. That schedule has to be catching up to them. And Matt, before I even kick it to you here, I just got to mention, in 3 games since the shutdown, all of Nebraska's opponents have shot 28% or worse from downtown. They have gotten awesome shooting luck that has made them look a lot better than I think they've played to this point. 26, 22, 28% their opponents have shot. Does this put them in the danger zone, Matt, in this really, really tough schedule spot?
Yes, we just waxed poetic on our podcast about how good Illinois is, and I think this number is really, really high. But Nebraska is such a fragile play to back here. I just can't imagine that you'd actually put money on this team against Illinois with the way they're trending. Ky, I'm not going to bet either side here, but I think it's Illinois or bust.
Yeah, man, 4th in KenPom now. They're 4 straight wins: Penn State, Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin. Illinois is very impressive right now. To Jim's point, a lot of 3-point shooting luck against Nebraska. They almost covered all 3 of those games since their shutdown, but there is some falsity to that, some fraudulent things going on there. I think it's bad news for the Huskers tonight. You can't run with Illinois. This game's gonna be really up tempo, lots of possessions leading to transition. So spread feels high, Jim, but I think it's Illinois or nothing. So I'm leaning Illinois.
Yeah, with the way Iowa is in transition, Illinois might be the best transition attack in the entire country, and yeah, Nebraska's going to run with them. That's a terrible, terrible idea. Lean towards Illinois, but can't get there on the number. All right, a couple of mid-major shutdowns from the heartland of the U.S. The state of Ohio will start with Detroit at Cleveland State in the Horizon. I did not expect both of these teams to be in the top 4, guys, and Cleveland State is atop the league at this point.
Yeah.
Ky, Bullcole, and Antoine Davis have driven us absolutely mad, fading them. Are you going to go back to that well today?
I don't know, Jim. I don't know what to do with this game because I don't know what to do with Detroit. Vikings, first of all, Dennis Gates, a ton of credit to him. What he's done in less than 2 years there. Vikings are in first place down the Horizon. Just incredible. But I have to give Detroit credit. I was down on this team to start the year. They've won 5 straight, 7 of the last 8 in the Horizon. They shoot the crap out of the ball. 19th in 3-point percentage in the country, 18th in rate. I mean, this team can really shoot. I don't think it's that fraudy either. I think they can actually shoot the ball. Cleveland State's going to force turnovers. They're the best in the league at it, and Detroit doesn't handle it super well. But Jim, Matt, I'm sorry, a little stuttering here. Something has to give here. Detroit's shooting is very high right now, 41% in the Horizon from deep. Cleveland State opponents, Matt, have only shot 28% against them in league play. I think I lean towards Detroit in this one weirdly, but I'm not going to bet it.
I do too. I think Cleveland State's been awesome, right? Super Bowl coach, as you mentioned. They got some talent there that's been infused with Mr. Gates's recruiting pipeline. Demoy Hodge is the one, the stalwart there. I just think that there's a little bit of some favorable shooting regression luck coming in favor on the side of Detroit here. Cleveland State does like to pack it in when they don't extend pressure, give up a lot of open threes. And as you said, I think Detroit has a bunch of shooters, right? It's not just a fluky thing. Antoine Davis was ice cold to start the year. He's starting to make jump shots. We know he can fill it up. And they got a bunch of other guys that can step out and shoot it, both bigs and guards. So multiple shooters here, Jim, does not bode well for the Vikings. Yeah,
Matt, I was actually about to take Cleveland State, but you talked me out of it with that. The defensive 3-point attempt rate is not good for Cleveland State, and you're right. Detroit has an absolute arsenal of shooters, so I'm going to stay away. I'm going to back off. Almost went for it, but you know what? Fridays haven't been kind. Why force it? Not going to do that.
Keep it tight.
So, yep. All right, let's stay in state though. We're going to go over to Oxford in Ohio. Akron at Miami of Ohio here. Akron a minus 4.5-point favorite. Total 142.5. Matt, both of these teams have kind of been your darlings in this conference. Are you choosing between your favorite children today, or are you going to stay away?
Going with Miami. Going with the Redhawks here. I think the spread's too high. It's a good matchup for them. This is 2 guard-oriented teams. Miami really struggled against Buffalo because they just couldn't combat their size up front. Akron's not a team that's going to score on the interior, right? So I think Miami's not at risk of being gashed in the paint like they were in that specific matchup. In a more, free-flowing, spread-out, guard-oriented type game, I think it's where Miami can thrive. Multiple guys who can make stuff happen off the bounce. Their guards are small, but Akron's got LCJ, another 5'8" point guard as well. So I don't think they'll struggle, shooting over him and shooting over the length that they saw against Buffalo. I like the Red Hawks here. +2, I believe, is +4 is the current number.
I think it is
+4.5.
4.5, yeah.
I'll take it as an official show play. Then I made this line.
I know it is 4. So. It is 4. Sorry.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it at 4.
I'm leaning your way, Matthew, on Miami. Akron just jumped 13 spots in KenPom when they beat Kent State by 11 on the road. They're very good. They're number 2 in the MAC right now for a reason. But Miami has been playing extremely well. They kind of got roughed up against Kent State and Buffalo recently, but I still think this team is feisty, especially at home. They're 7-1 this year at home, guys, straight up. On the road, they're 1-7. And Akron, 2 of their losses in the MAC this year, actually, in fact, all 3 of their losses in the MAC have been on the road. 2 of those losses, Northern Illinois and Eastern Michigan. This team is known to lay duds on the road. So I agree, Matthew. I'm leaning towards Miami.
Yep, Akron's defense has been getting great 3-point shooting luck. I think that's going to reverse. And I like the Isaiah Coleman-Lands matchup for having someone to throw at Lauren Christian Jackson. So definitely lean towards Miami for me. I'm about a point away from taking it. If it was 5, I would be on the Red Hawks. But let's go to best bets, guys. We've been, kind of waffling as we've gone through the main slate, but we definitely have best bets. So let's start with Matt. I know you gave out a couple already, so recap those and hit us with your best bet.
I believe I have Miami, Jim. I took St. Bonnie, and my best bet, the Dixie Chicks, Dixie State, in the infamous I-15 rivalry, the first of the year, first year in the WAC, first year D1, playing Utah Valley. Once upon a time, it used to be a huge rivalry for those who don't follow Utah-based basketball. They could be down a starter tonight, Jim, but I just think this line is too high, up at 9.5. Talked about a similar narrative with Georgia Southern, Georgia State yesterday. Just heated rivalry games where I think the talent is actually comparable. I think the game plays closer to a pick. So I think you're getting a lot of value with +9.
All right,
I lean that way. I need Nichols in the lineup to be able to take Dixie.
Yeah, Nichols is the key, so it'd be nice to get him in there.
Yep. All right, Ky, what do you got for us?
A reminder, I'm on Louisiana Tech -1 with Jim. And guys, I hate to do this. Plug your nose, cover your ears. Denver, +6.5 is my best bet. Yes, Denver's terrible. I get it, chat mob. They're really, really bad. But Western Illinois has not been a favorite over anybody this season. They've been a dog every single game, let alone a 6-point favorite. This spread's too big. The Leather Neck should not be favored this high against any team. Even though they have been playing better recently, I will acknowledge that. Robert Jones, the starting center for Denver, surprisingly came back in the North Dakota series. He's extremely important. Everyone thought he was done for the year. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. He helps on both ends. When Jones is on the floor, Denver allows 0.99 points per possession. When he's off the floor, they allow 1.13. He completely changes their defense. Denver's going to be a better team starting from that Nodak series going forward. And Jace Townsend, guys, their point guard, absolute killer, 20 points per game. Denver +6.5, best bet.
And I fully lean that way, both
number
and matchup, but I'm not gonna add it with you, Ky, just because Rodney Phillips scares
It's Denver.
Me. Yeah. All right, Matt. I think we're all. My best bet was Louisiana Tech -1. Believe that's the only one I've locked in the show. Maybe another one or two will come up as we get through chat mob here. So Ky, let's go back to you and sort through the rest of the questions.
All right, Austin asked about Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Youngstown. I'm leaning towards Fort Wayne at +5, guys, but this team's been awful, Matt. They haven't been able to guard their shadow recently.
Yeah, I don't know, Ky. I'm tired of betting on bad teams, so this is one where I'm just going to stay away.
All right.
Yeah, well,
fair enough.
Youngstown got Quisenberry back last week, and that makes them a different team. However, they don't blow anybody out, including Rochester of Michigan. They won by 10.
Yeah, it was a barn burner, baby.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them as a favorite at this point. They don't defend anybody.
I gotta address. Well, Western Illinois has better stats overall. Don't take Denver. Yeah, favorites have better stats than dogs. That's part of the favorites.
That's how it works.
J-Row, Northern Kentucky versus Green Bay. Any thoughts here, guys? I really don't. Green Bay's been better lately, Jim.
Yeah, so is Northern Kentucky. They kind of got their mojo at Milwaukee last week. But you know what? Here's an ad for me. I will take Green Bay as the dog, +1.5. I just think the Phoenix are very solid. They can score against Northern Kentucky's zone. They've got some shooting. They've got some guys that can get into gaps. Matt, I'm a little afraid by the Norse playing better lately, but I don't think they win 3 straight in the great state of Wisconsin. It just can't be done. It's not easy.
Not on your turf, and I'm Jim. I'll join you. I have Green Bay small already locked in here, so there's no reason not to add it as a show play. With those 3 guards and Pipes, Jefferson, Davis, I think they can get into the crevices of that zone defense that Northern Kentucky will play and make some stuff happen. So I'll take the Phoenix.
Ryan asks about.
I just had a really bad pun enter my head. You said Pipes, Jefferson, Davis. That sounds like something the Union did in the Civil War. Jefferson Davis was the president of the South. So I think it's pretty good. It's clever, historical.
Pretty deep cut, Jim. Ryan asks about New Mexico State, Seattle. This line's gotten out of control a little bit, but New Mexico State is a team I'm looking to bet basically every game here on out. At least till they get back to their preseason ranking. This team's going to start clicking. They had the worst COVID luck and situation imaginable this season. They just beat Cal Baptist by 27, Matt. I think this is a team that's going to be on the rise very, very quickly.
Yeah, the question is that Cal Baptist game the launching pad, or is it just an anomaly? They didn't play very well before that, as you mentioned, out of COVID. They are not fully healthy yet, but they are getting there. And I think if you're going to catch Seattle without Riley Grigsby, which I believe is a question mark tonight, arguably their most versatile, just best player in general, then a ton of value, even at the current line, which I think is 9?
It's at 8 right now.
It's at 8? Okay.
My guess is that Grigsby plays because they're out of a shutdown. I'm guessing he was contact tracing, but we don't know for sure. So.
All right, we'll go with Don Juan, Albany, and UMass Lowell. Obadiah Noel, still out, Jim?
There's no reporting on UMass Lowell. No one knew he was going to be out. No one knows if he's going to be back. And Matt, we've tried. We have mined the depths of the internet. We have not been able to find it.
No.
Albany has their own COVID issues coming out of a shutdown. I've got nothing on this game. Hard to stay away.
Under would be my take here. That's all I'll say.
J.A. A lot of J's in the chat, by the way. J.A. asks about North Texas and Southern Mississippi. I have a strong lean towards North Texas. The number got a little bit out of my price range, Jim. What do you think?
I lean towards North Texas. It's hard to trust them as a big favorite because their games are so slow, low scoring games. So not going to take it on the show, but I do want to be backing the Mean Green down the stretch here. I just think McCaslin's too good of a coach, and they usually peak late in the year.
In general, I need to be better at betting these top end of the league teams, right, as favorites, both home and especially on the road. I think there's more value on the road because home course is not that large this year. So I'm with Jim. I think the North Texas is one of those prototypes that you're looking to play down the stretch.
All right, we got Andrew, Oakland, Robert Morris. I have a lean towards Robert Morris, and I hate it. Matthew, you're a big Oakland guy, though. Always.
I've been to Oakland pretty much, I would say, every game this season. Close to it. This is the first time I'm not. So I think the market's caught up to my number, or I'm just too high on Robert Morris. But no play here for me.
Yeah, Robert Morris has been awful in the horizon. They're in last place right now, but they've been a lot closer than that. They've just lost some close ones. They had 2 overtime losses to Youngstown last week. Oakland, you don't know what you're getting from Rashad Williams. He missed the first leg last weekend, only played 11 minutes in the second leg. We don't know if he'll be healthy. So a lean to Robert Morris, but until I see how Rashad Williams, or if he's warming up, that type of thing, nothing for me on that one.
All right, lastly, we got JB. That's J-A-Y-B. So, again, another J. Third J, by the way.
A lot of J's.
Quinnipiac and Canisius. The Golden Griffins coming out of a shutdown. This line has gotten pretty damn high, though, Jim.
Yep.
Up to 4.5, 5. Yikes.
Yeah, Quinnipiac, not really an offense I trust as a favorite, but they did demolish Fairfield in the first leg out of a shutdown last week, so perhaps they can do the same to Canisius today. And I think they've been off for over a month, right? Yeah, since January 2nd.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Yeah.
They've only played 6 games all season, so I couldn't get myself to take Canisius, but the number isn't quite there for me to back Quinnipiac. Matt?
Yeah, Quinnipiac was going to be my best bet of the day, but the line just got out of hand here. I think I'll give Jordan Majeski credit talking about how there's been some changes in Quinnipiac's offense. They've moved Tyrese Williams, their scintillating score, off the ball, and that's worked wonders for the offense. The defense is nails. They have Seth Pickney up front, a 7-foot shot blocker who erases everything inside. So you have no chance to score through him against this team. You have to make shots. I like Quinnipiac. I just like it less than the current number. So no official show play endorsement for me here, Ky.
Yes. I said last one, I saw a Murray State question. I have no take on that one, guys. If you do, rapid fire here.
Nothing.
Nope. I got nothing. That's a rescheduled game from yesterday, but I made the line like exactly what it was.
SEMO filing some rust. Yeah, nothing there.
All righty. Jimmy, sign us off here. Hey, smash the like button, guys, if you don't mind.
Hit that like button. We definitely appreciate a lot of great action in the chat today. So hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/SBR Sports. And head over to the website, sbrpicks.com/NCAAB. The URL is at the top of the screen, so it's very easy for you all. But that wraps up our Friday show. Hopefully we'll have some decent luck tonight. We'll be back on Monday at the same time, 9 a.m. Central. We will see you all then. Have a great weekend and Happy New Year.